What's going on, coin traders? Thanks for joining me for the show. Looking at Injective INJ on that ticker. Very nice day for crypto as a whole today. A lot of upside gains, especially with the Ethereum speculation about an upcoming ETF this week, and a lot of inspired confidence that actually is going to get improved. And obviously that does have a big rub off on the rest of the crypto and altcoin space specifically, especially with things like the total market cap for altcoins rallying and breaking out here as well. And so specifically are going to dive into this Injective chart, especially after a huge insane rally, obviously coming off of January of last year, but more specifically in the shorter term, actually had one of the larger pullbacks that we had for altcoins, pulling back over 60%. So now actually finding a lot more of that upside move, especially after maintaining a higher low here. A little bit of a good sign, especially breaking the 50-period EMA. So one of the first things we actually need to be looking at is just how this overall chart played out once we actually broke daily structure, and specifically just want to look at the big resistance zone that we formed in between the 12 and 26 period EMA. So we're going to turn off the 50 here. And as you can see, if we go ahead and zoom in here for a little bit, you can see that we were pulling back. And then once we actually broke through this level, didn't reclaim it again. So big resistance, rallied up, found it as resistance, found this big period as resistance. Resistance tried to break through, but bears push prices back down, still resistance. And then even on this recent attempt, resistance for 3 days, back tested the 12-period EMA as a very nice support. And then on the current day, extremely nice bullish on this breakout. So very, very nice, especially with about 13 minutes left as of time of recording. Almost seems pretty confident that we're going to get this very nice bullish close on top of the 26-period EMA. And on this daily as well, should be getting a nice close on top of the 50-period EMA as well. Price for the 50-period EMA right now, 27.381. So looking at 28.107 for price on this daily for Injective. So a reason to believe that in the next 13 minutes, we will see a close on top of this level, which would be insanely bullish for the price action and structure for this Injective chart here. Now, one of the things that's always so bullish about these big legs, especially if we do find a continuation and follow through, or at least preventing a huge downside sell-off tomorrow, is just the fact that that does make it that much harder to actually pull back and set a new lower low. So we do see a price extend far above the previous levels of resistance. And then also now it does take a lot more effort to actually push prices back to test that level. But also it does increase the likelihood that on a pullback of that magnitude, we will actually find this level as being supportive. So price level for a very nice support coming in for Injective based on closes for the daily is going to come in at about 25.925. So would actually expect that to maintain a price level of support. But then obviously overhead, we do have plenty of resistances still, specifically a very big zone from 29.75 up to 31.25. So looking left, big point of resistance, point of support, looking left, support, and then support, support and resistance here overall, big point of support and resistance before hitting up this current trend high previously before setting our all-time high for Injective right now. Okay, so I want to actually pull up the RSI for Injective right now and look at the divergence happening, because we actually found our overextended and oversold levels where we saw the RSI close at 25.75. Now, when we look at the candle that created that, we actually have a price level that doesn't match up with where we closed, but the RSI right now, how it is set on my chart, is set for the close and not for the low price point. So we know that basically we're seeing plenty of other lower closes, which is exactly what we're finding. Higher highs on that though. So we are finding a little bit more of that bullish divergence here, and especially with the candle closing in the formation that it is right now, especially being almost in a Marubozu type candle, is an extremely good sign, especially given the way this indicator is playing out right now for Injective. So since we are about to see a nice bullish close on top of not only the 50, but the 12 and 26 as well, what we really need to see is prices maintain on top of the 50 to allow the 12 and 26 to have a bullish cross and actually roll up and see this change in direction to the upside. So if price can maintain on top of the 50, we could get a very nice back test of those levels in that instance as well. And then that's pretty much what we do need to find to continue price action to the upside. Otherwise, if that does not happen, then we will be at risk and jeopardy of actually removing and retracing a lot of the support levels that we have previously found due from previous resistance that would flip into support now. So essentially what could happen is that if we don't get that follow through and prices maintaining on top of the 50 period EMA, essentially we'd be looking at this whole daily candle as being nothing more than essentially a fake out from some bullish news happening, and essentially would retrace back inside and then reclaim these levels as resistance once again. At a worst case scenario though, even if we do lose the 50, still maintain support on top of 26 would be the next best case. And obviously if that does happen, then pretty much we would just be looking at returning to another consolidation point in favor of bearish action. Now flipping over here into the weekly chart for Injective, very nice pattern still set up. So despite having one of the biggest pullbacks in the altcoin space, the fact that we had such a rally and a very nice upside move does mean that it still was able to maintain defense of a close for support on top of this 50 period EMA for the weekly. So as you can see, there were 4 different tests and attempts of the bears to push prices and close below. Bulls did defend and push prices back up in all those instances. So we are still maintaining support on top of the 50 period EMA. However, if we look to the upside, especially after losing 12 period EMA support on this big bearish capitulation candle, we actually did reclaim, or excuse me, find as established support below the 26 period EMA. So in addition to that, we actually have the 12 period EMA right now rallying down and actually being very close and almost intersecting with the 26 period EMA. So this actually creates one of the strongest resistance zones that we actually do find when we talk about technical indicators, specifically the exponential moving averages. So on the low end, to break above the 26 period EMA, 28.349 is the price we need to see a close on top of. And then to break the 12 period EMA as well, 28.923. So very close. Obviously, if we do break into the 29s and maintain a close in the $29 level, that would be extremely strong, especially based on a price level close previous resistance at 28.401, which is what we saw previous resistance at for the close. And then obviously, like we talked about, price resistance did come in right at that 26 period EMA. So like we talked about, though, still maintaining 50 period EMA is extremely strong. But because we have had the 26 period just be so supportive previously, we know that this whole level, especially after confirming it already as resistance, is also going to be a pretty big struggle. So it is going to take a lot of follow through and momentum from the bulls, and hopefully the rest of the bullish space for crypto can actually rub off into Injective as well. So ideal scenario would be we discover that. Now resistance up overhead on top of that, assuming we break 12 and 26, would be 32.42. So big point of previously level of closing support, as well as big level of rejection for this move previously to finding the all-time high. So we are looking at 28.40. Above that would be the $29 level to break through the EMAs. And then on top of that, resistance at 32.42. Now, if we do find that and finally hold that for a close, and that's pretty much going to be an extremely good sign to be a little bit more of a long-term guide, knowing that we're going to be rallying up and testing to find a new all-time high, because we can't actually test this new all-time high without breaking through these resistances and being able to establish this level as longer-term support, especially after such a significant longer-term retracement and pullback. Now, I want to look at the technical, specifically stochastic RSI on this weekly chart. So obviously, as you can see, we are looking at about the lowest RSI that we have found, especially after being so far overextended. So now looking at the stochastic RSI, you can see that we have been extremely far down below, especially the 20 line ever since the start of February. So I have been down below this 20 line for quite some time now. Now finally hoping to make this nice bullish cross here, especially as we have defended and confirmed support. So hopefully we can see the bulls break through those levels and see this oscillator help provide a strength and guide to the upside as we do see bulls in quest and search for new higher highs. So overall, based off some of the things that we see in the current setup right now, I think at least for the short-term foreseeable future, it does appear as if we have been setting our low right now for Injective, coming in at 20.056. Obviously not scientific at all, but just based off the things that we find, as well as the structure changing and being in favor of bullish upside, that is pretty much what we're seeing as an indication right now. And I do think an upside target right now would be in about the mid-30s. And hopefully if we can get to that level, that would be very nice to be able to establish once again this overall big point, just like we did for this overall sideways trading, have a very nice heart line, and then be able to continue with a lot stronger continuous action besides what we had previously when we did establish our current all-time high. But yeah, as always, would love to know all your thoughts, comments, predictions, issues, disagreements, all that stuff in the comments sections down below. But otherwise, that will go ahead and wrap up the show for today. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe if you have not done so just yet. And also don't forget to drop me a follow over on Twitter or X at coin_trades is the handle. That is going to do it for now, though, so stay safe, take care, appreciate all the love and support, and I will catch you back, coin traders, in the next video.